This weekend, Weird, the Al Yankovic Story drops on Roku. So let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Sean, and I love to talk about movies and TV way too much. With that in mind, go ahead and join me down below in the comments section. Let me know your excitement level for Weird, the Al Yankovic Story, and what's your favorite Weird Al parody. With that said, if you don't know what this project is, essentially, back 12 years ago on Funny or Die, they put out this fake trailer for a movie called Weird that was supposed to be this very dramatic biopic about Weird Al Yankovic's life. And in this little short fake trailer, it starred Aaron Paul.
I'm the weird one!
And Olivia Wilde as Weird Al and Madonna. And it plays it totally straight into all the cliches of biopic films. And it was hilarious. It was just kind of like this one and done little fake trailer.
2 words. Eat it.
Jump forward, Weird Al got it in his head like, what if we actually did that? So earlier this year, they announced that they are actually making this fake biopic about Weird Al. It's directed by the same guy that did the Funny or Die short 12 years ago, and it was written by Weird Al and the guy that did the Funny or Die skit. So there's a lot of jokes from the trailer that make it their way into the movie, and it stars Harry Potter as Weird Al. So I have just been so excited just to check this one out. I grew up all throughout the 90s listening to Weird Al, just like so many of you, and the idea of a spoof parody of biopics about Weird Al's life, I was so on board for that. I was finally able to check it out, so let's get started talking about the good. And I'll cut straight to the chase. The movie was pretty much exactly what I hoped it would be. A very weird, wacky, wild, fake biopic about Weird Al that is just jam-packed with little references and deep cuts from Weird Al's career, actual life story, but absurd versions of them, references to album titles, tracks, and all sorts of other things, while also spoofing the whole musical biopic genre. It's just everything that you would want it to be. And it does it with just the right tone, where it plays everything straight. Where it's not going big, broad, and wild. It plays it straight, but insane things are happening where, a dad's getting just furious because his son's brought an accordion into the house and he doesn't want that filth in his house. But it plays it all straight. The absurdity isn't done like it's absurd. It's done like we're really exploring the life of Al Yankovic and what led him to be the man that he was. And just all throughout, it finds all these witty, clever ways to kind of tackle everything. And even to dive into exactly what it does, or so much fun, you kind of have to go into the spoilers, but it's so much more fun if you just watch the movie. And as it gets to these big reveals, twists, turns of how it tackles this version of Weird Al's life, that is absolutely insane. You'd be spoiling things. You have to experience it as you're watching it to get the full effect of it. But I mean, it just finds all these little things of your favorite Weird Al song or some very minor connection between two people and builds a whole tale out of it. And it pulls drug lords and finds a way to make their own path in Weird Al's story. I mean, weird is truly an appropriate descriptor for this movie, but at the same time, it's exactly what you would want from a film like this about the life of Weird Al. And it gets trippy at times. There's one sequence that as I was watching it, I was like, this is like straight out of the boat ride from Willy Wonka. And as soon as the scene ended, my wife goes, so is that creepy? Is it just me, or is that even creepier than the boat ride in Willy Wonka? I was like, I was thinking the same thing, but it's just bonkers. It's wild, and everyone is having so much fun in their parts. Prior to them announcing Daniel Radcliffe was playing Weird Al, never in a million years would I have been fan cast Harry Potter as Weird Al. But then you see the movie, and it's like, yeah, that was the right way to go. That makes a lot of sense with gonna do that. Just sure. And like he's fully committed to it. And so he can do the silly stuff, but then he has to do like dramatic scenes for really stupid things happening. And so it's just so much fun. And I'm watching it at my home in my living room. There's three of us in the room with my daughter watching it too. And I'm laughing out loud at just how insane this movie gets with everything that it does. It's truly Weird Al applying his bag of tricks, his mind, his warped sense of humor to his own life. That's truly is what this is. And whether you watch the original Funny or Die trailer or the actual trailers for the movie, that really is the tone of the movie. That's the vibe of the movie. If you dug the Funny or Die bit like I did 12 years ago, you'll have just as much fun with this movie. It truly is just so much fun. And I also have to kind of keep in mind, like sometimes we think of like Weird Al as just kind of being family friendly kind of guy. He does have a dark side to his sense of humor. I mean, he did a song called The Night Santa Went Crazy, all about Santa killing all of his elves and the reindeer. And you get that flavor in there. Like it has enough of an edge to it without going too far, without going too wild. So like if you heard about this film, heard about the concept, and went, I think I would like that, you're gonna like this. You're gonna have fun with it. My wife was like, what is this? Like, why would you do a fake biopic about Weird Al? Like, if you have to ask that question, it's probably not the right movie for you. But we do have a few issues here, so let's move on to the mixed aspects of the film. And the big thing here is that this is a niche film, where there's going to be a lot of people, as I just discussed, that will watch the trailer, see the film, and be like, what am I watching? Tried to watch it with my wife. It was not for her, like at all. It was not one that is her thing, her sense of humor at all. I'm like dying laughing, and she's looking at me like I'm an insane person. So you just have to kind of factor in, is this movie for me or is it not? It's just that type of movie. It's a very specific type of humor, and it can be like, it's very weird, it's random, it can be very violent at times, and some people love that, some people won't. But I would guess the trailer is a pretty good gauge of whether it will be for you. If you watch the trailer and you go, man, whatever that is, I want to see it, I think you will like it. You watch the trailer, you go, what? Probably not for you. From there, let's move on to the bad. First thing that comes to mind here is just inherently, when you have Daniel Radcliffe lip syncing to Weird Al, your brain sees the disconnect. Like when you've heard Weird Al's voice coming out of Weird Al, in the case of me, for 32 years, when it's coming out of Harry Potter's face, it doesn't quite mesh up quite right. So that was the big one that just immediately was like, I don't know what you could do here, but this doesn't fully work for me. Maybe there's a certain charm to the Weird Al's voice coming out of Harry Potter's face in the movie, but it didn't fully work for me. And then, I don't know, just kind of the way that it tells its story, because it's covering so much ground. There's a couple things that get a little bit kind of choppy and clunky at times in the storytelling. There's a couple of parts where it felt like we lingered a little bit too long on something. In particular, I don't know, like 60-70% of the way through the movie, there's a sequence where you kind of learn about Al's father and kind of go into the backstory there. And I was like, we're spending a lot of time on this particular scene. Like, I get how it ties into everything, but this is a bit much. But those are really the only things that come to mind. Little storytelling kinks, and then, Weird Al's voice coming out of Daniel Radcliffe's face. Bit awkward. Other than that, I thought that this movie was just an absolute blast that absolutely made me laugh out loud. And prior to watching it, I'd read some little quotes on Twitter from some people disappointed that it's a movie that's only being released on Roku, so very few people are going to get to experience it in a theater with other Weird Al fans. And I definitely sense that. Like, I can only imagine watching this in a room full of people excited to watch an insane Weird Al parody of biopics about Weird Al. That would have been a cool experience that very few people are going to end up happening. That's disappointing because it's as wild, crazy, insane as you'd want it to be, and most importantly, it's funny. Overall, I'll go an A-, and on the entertainment scale, an 8.5 out of 10. And if you're a Weird Al fan, this is a must-watch. But if you're not a Weird Al fan, if you're not someone that watches the trailer and immediately goes, oh, I gotta see that, it's probably not going to be for you. It's a movie with a very niche, specific audience of people, and you probably know if you're a member of that audience. Thank you guys so much for watching, and keep talking movies and TV too much. Bye-bye.